Hey guys, Checkers here from Climax Combo, bringing you another Leaks of the Week. This week we're finishing up Terraformars and Milky Holmes, the booster for Terraformars and the TD for Milky Holmes. So, since they both come out this week, there's only 4 days. Since the last day, they usually just show cards that have already been leaked. So, still a decent amount of cards to show off, so let's get started. First day, we have this Michelle 00500. Assist all of your characters in front, gain 500 power, and place 2 characters to rest. Choose one of your modified characters. It gains plus 1k power until the end of the turn. So it looks like the set got their reliable startup act ability that they've been looking for. It's a decent assist, the 500, standard for level zeros, and her startup is pretty good. Give 1k to a modified character. It's not the greatest thing, but it's still 1k for free because you're just gonna rest your back row. So 1k to a modified character, any of the cards in your deck generally. So solid assist if you're going for the startup thing. She definitely works with all the Michelles so far. So nice level 0 option for you there. Next up we have this 00 Michelle 3500. When this card is reversed in battle, and if you have one or less other modified characters, place this card to the clock. So this has been a common 3500 level 0 recently, I believe. I've seen it a few times. So early on, if she's by herself or with one other one, then if you have the Michelle in the back, she's 4k, right? 4k level 0 is pretty good. And if she gets reversed, then you only have one of the characters, so you will take a damage, but that's not a bad thing at level 0 because it takes you level 1 quicker. And later on, you're probably not going to have a you're probably not going to have, I want to go back, less than 2 other characters on stage as the game goes on. So you probably won't take this damage when she gets reversed, so I don't think there's very much downside to this card. She's really good for level 0, and she doesn't really hurt you later on as long as you make sure you don't play her when you have not enough characters. So yeah, I think she's a good beater for red, but there are other options like the solo player, Joseph. It was Joseph, right? Yeah. And the runner and the suicider, so it's a decent option for level 0. Next up we have this level 2 Michelle, 2/2 7k 2 soul. When you have 2 or more other modified characters, this card gains plus 1k power and hand encore. This ability can only be activated once per turn. When you use an act ability, this card gains 1k power until the end of the turn, and pay 1 when this card declares an attack with the 2k1 Terraformars that was shown like a few weeks back. You may pay a stated cost. If you do, choose one of your opponent's level 2 or lower center stage characters and send it to its owner's waiting room. So, pretty interesting. So, ideally, if you have this condition met, she's 8k with hand encore, 2 soul, 2 stock. She pops a level 2 in front, which isn't that big a deal because the strongest level 2 cards are level 3s that come out early, so not that useful. At that point you'd only be killing level 1s and stuff, maybe level 2s if the set runs it, but yeah, it doesn't seem decent or that good. So with the startup, she's 9k, which is nice, but like before, the Joseph is a really good card, and ideally your level 2 game is going to be him. So, and she also forces you to run another climax instead of the other good climax combos like the gate or the 2k1 Komachi or the Ava one. So all in all, I don't think this level 2 has a place in the deck because there's just other climax combos and better level 2 game, beaters. available already, so not too impressive, this Michelle. And lastly, this Milky Holmes 2-1 Shadow, 8k. Experience when the total level of your cards in your level area is 3 or greater. This card gains 1k power. So if the condition is met, then she gets 9k. You know, one cost 9k is cool. Don't know what level 2 options there are in Milky Holmes, and like I said before, I don't know if the experience is hard to keep since you swap with the levels on. So it seems like a pretty decent level 2. So it's not a bad card. I think it's pretty decent. And yeah, there's that day. Next we have these 3 roaches. They're all the same card, just different art. Detestable Presence Terraformar. 002 500 power. You can have as many of these cards with the same name in your deck as you want. This card cannot declare a side attack, and when this card is played from hand to stage, this card gains plus X power until the end of the turn, where X is the number of your characters with Terraformar in their names multiplied by 500. So if you have a full field, then the first turn it's played, it gets 4,500 power. It's 4,500 power, level 0, which is pretty whatever. Because you're probably not going to have a full field at level 0, and later on when you can have a full field, it's just going to be a 4/5 costless beater, which isn't good. So if it's the Terraformer kind of theme, where it's like just swarming, just a bunch of them boost each other their power, just have overwhelming power, but for level 0 I guess it's overwhelming power, but later on in the game it's pretty pointless. And so yeah, not good. Milky Holmes, just a 3k backup, nothing special. Okay, next 1-0 Ava, 5k power. When this card is played from your hand to stage, this card gains 1500 power until the end of the turn. So 6/5 on play, I guess it's cool. It's only for the first turn, and there are other cards that can hit pretty high, close to this value number at least. So not the best 1-0. For yellow, I don't know if I don't think there was anything better for yellow, maybe. But there are definitely better 1-0s in the set, so I don't think this would be ran. It's just a common too, so nothing to, can't really expect much. Next up, this 0-0, 500 power. Assist all your characters in front, gain plus 500 power, and pay 2, place this card to rest. Search your deck for up to 1 modified character, show it to your opponent, and add it to your hand. Then shuffle your deck. Pretty interesting. A level 0 assist with a plus on wheels, basically. It looks like Terraformars can do the costless game early on, so I could see this being pretty useful. Being able to plus whenever is pretty nice, and being able to pay 2 since you're running costless characters, like in case you get a climax in your stock and it might be hard to get out because all your other characters are costless, so being able to pay 2 might come in handy. So all in all, I think this card's pretty decent. If you're running yellow and you choose not to use the other assist, then I'd definitely use this one, but don't think that you can just spam her plus, because it is cost heavy, 2 costs, so you do need cost later on in the game. So yeah, this card's pretty decent, but there are other assists, so I don't think you should feel compelled to run this, like the Alex and the Michelle. The Michelle's pretty good. But yeah, she's definitely a viable option. 1-0, 8 off, 5,500, just a vanilla, nothing special. 1-1, 8 off, 6k power. During your own turn, for every other modified character you control, this card gains 500 power and Clock Encore. So ideally on your turn, if you have a full field, he's 8k, which is a very good number to hit for level 1. He has Clock Encore, which is really nice. He gets to stick around, because especially since he's pretty weak on defense, only 6k. So, and he's not completely vulnerable to level reversers, because he has Clock Encore, so he can still stick around. He's not just like, oh, screwed, you lose your 1-1 for free. It's like, he still can stick around, and he hits pretty hard on his turn. So this is a really solid level 1 option if you want to cost 1 character. He hits pretty hard, and yeah, that's all you really need. Like, he's the hardest hitting level 1, I think, consistently, because it's only reliant on you having your modified characters, whereas the 1-1 Akari, it depends on what your opponent has and what he's rested and stuff. So ideally this card is, and he has Clock Encore, so it's really good. It's a really good card, really solid level 1, and a 3k vanilla. Awesome. Alright, the last day. 0-0 Komachi, 500 power. All your other modified characters gain 500 power, and pay 1 when this card is played from your hand to your stage. You can pay the stated cost. If you do, choose 1 Bugs Operation from your waiting room, which is this event, and return it to your hand. I'll go over the event real quick. 1-0. Place one of your characters with Shokichi in its name and stand to rest. If you do, all your characters gain plus 1k power until the end of your opponent's turn. So I guess the idea here is you play this card, you pay 1, you get the event, you use the event to rest him because he's going to be in your back row since he's an assist, and boom, all your characters gain 1500 power for that turn. Big whoop. Bonding for an event, like I said before, I don't think it's too good, and especially this event, since all it does is give power. So I don't know, I don't like giving a slot just for power. It's not worth it. So since the event's not that good, I don't think the Komachi's that good either, since all he is besides that is a 500 global, which you can accomplish with other things, even 500 in front. I mean, it's not that much worse. One less character gets 500, so all in all, I don't think this this combo is good, and I wouldn't use it. So yeah. Next up, this 0-0 Komachi. When this card is played from your hand to your stage, choose one of your other modified characters. It gains 1k power until the end of the turn, and pay 1, place 2 of your modified characters in stand to rest. When this card is played from your hand to stage, you may pay a stated cost. If you do, draw a card. So, basically on play, power and a pay 1 plus. Power is whatever. It's just 1k, and he's stupidly weak, so he's not going to kill anything. He'll just get you a stock. I guess the plus is nice, but it's not needed. There are other level 0s that do a lot more. So, yeah. This level 0 ain't too good. I wouldn't run in. And you have to have a back row already on the stage, so you can't really do this early on. Yeah, I don't like this card. Next up, 2-1 Komachi. 7k. When you have 2 or more other modified characters, this card gains Hand Encore, and when your other modified characters declares an attack, this card gains plus 1500 power until the end of the turn. So, Hand Encore, and on attacking, 10k ideally, because if you have 2 characters before him, they both attack, and he gets plus 3k power, which makes him 10k, which is pretty high number to hit for a level 2. Hand Encores or whatever. I guess he could stick around and keep smacking on dudes, but I don't think, like I've said before, the Joseph is awesome. Joseph's really good. So you just want to focus on getting him out. I guess it's nice to have a backup plan, but I mean, he's only good on offense. He's just gonna die. And do you really want to hand encore him? Like, there are gonna be better things to play than this Komachi. So I don't see this card being very useful. Next up, this 0/0 Michelle, 2500 power. This ability can only be activated once per turn. When you use an act ability, this card gains 2k power until the end of the turn. Works with the assist Michelle that gives 1k to something, and she does the startup. So 2/5. Let's say you use the Michelle in the back, that's plus 2k, so she's 4/5. She's probably in front of the assist, so 5k, and maybe you used that back Michelle's power to give to her, so she becomes 6k. That's pretty big for a level 0. I definitely see her working very well with the Michelle assist at level 0, but it might be kind of hard to have both your back rows there already. So I mean, she's really good if you get her off. So pretty hard hitting level 0. She is weak on defense, only 2/5 power, so it's pretty much just play and bomb something once, and yeah, she's pretty good. She's a good hard hitter for level 0. And yeah, decent option, as long as you're running the Michelle. If you're not, then don't bother. Next up, this 2/1 event, species specific strategy. Choose up to 2 characters from your waiting room, return them to your hand, and then discard 1 card from your hand to your waiting room. It's like the Madoka event, the 2/1. You're basically paying 1. You pay 1 to break even because you lose the event and you have to discard, but then you get 2 back. This is a really good card to have before a refresh because it lets you ditch a climax and salvage 2 characters. So essentially, you're compressing yourself by quite a lot if you do it that way, because you're losing 2 characters in the stage or in the waiting room, and you're putting a climax in. So it's really useful for ditching, and it lets you filter out your hand and keep your hand up. So pretty solid event. Next up, this 0/0 Akari, 1500 power. All your modified characters gain plus 500 power, and startup ability, place this card to rest. Choose one of your opponent's characters in stand and put it to rest. There's another startup ability that you could use if you wanted. However, if you're going for the whole act thing, I think the Michelle's better since she gives power, and this resting effect is only useful for the Akari cards. So if you're not using the Akari cards, there's no reason to use this card over the Michelle. But if you are using the Akari cards, then he's very useful, because maybe your opponent didn't rest his back row for some reason, because he doesn't want you to have power, or he doesn't rest his back row anyways. You could just you could use this card to rest it, and you get that much more power. I believe 500 for the 1/0, and is it? Oh, the 1/0 on Akari doesn't get anything on attacking, but yeah. So it's pretty useful for those cards, but I don't know how good that mechanic's gonna be anyways. It might not. I don't think it's. It might not be that useful, but yeah, this card works well with the other ones, but that's about it. You wouldn't use it for any other reason. 2/2 7k Akari, 2 soul. For every other modified character you control, this card gains plus 500 power, and when your opponent's characters in stand go to rest, this card gains plus 1500 power until the end of the turn. So if you have a full field, 9k. If you have the 2 assist Akaris, then you can rest 2 characters, and then he gets plus 3k, so that's 12k on attacking with 2 soul. That's pretty big. God damn it. It's pretty big. On defending, your opponent has to attack, so he's automatically going to be 10/5. If he attacks again, 12. And if he attacks a third time, then he's 13-5, which is pretty big for level 2. So if you can get this off, like a full field, and you use this Akari to rest things, then he can be a pretty decent threat, honestly. I hadn't really considered it before. He can hit pretty good, but I don't know if you wanna. You have to use the other Akari cards to get the real benefit of this assist, and I don't know how well it's gonna turn out. Cause definitely yellows. You're gonna want to run yellow for the Joseph. The Adolf's really good too. There are a lot of decent yellow cards as well. Red for the Akari, for the Alex, for all the good stuff in red. And I don't know. I don't think you'd want to be forced into running this whole resting mechanic. But if you do, this resting level 2 is pretty good. He can hit pretty hard, which is nice to have. And finally, this manly ass +2 soul. Fucking tight. Alright, so that's it for this week. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so Terraformars was completely leaked already. I already looked through the list and every single card has been shown. I'm pretty sure, fairly sure. So if you guys have been watching this video, then you know all the cards. And honestly, I think Terraformars is going to be a really good standalone set. They have a lot of options for being a standalone set. They have good level 1s. They have decent end game assists. They have really good level 3s. A lot of really good level 3s. They have end game. They have the Joseph that comes out early. They have a few healers. Good level 0 lineup with the runner, the suicider, pretty decent assists, pretty decent beaters. So yeah, all in all, I think the set's pretty solid. I wouldn't be surprised to see this set doing really well in like tournaments and stuff, cause some of these cards are just whoa. Like the Joseph is crazy, and the Alex is crazy. Everything else is just pretty good. So yeah. So if you guys are interested in Terraformars, I definitely think you should check it out. The cards are really cool. The sign cards are really cool. Should I show you guys? I'm too lazy to find it. But some of the signs show them in their bugs form, and it's really cool looking. So you guys should buy boxes and get a sign. But yeah. That's it. These 2 sets are coming out, and that's all. That about wraps up this week. So I hope you guys enjoyed me talking about the couple leaks that were presented this week. Look forward to next week, and I'll see you guys next time.